We're not even halfway through 2018 yet, and we have a lot of contenders for Album of the Year. But what about albums that are still coming out? What weight will they have when they come out? I have no idea, but let's take a look at which ones I'm very much anticipated for. Welcome to Ray Runner Does Music. Today we're taking a look at 10 albums that are yet to come out this year, but I feel are some of the most anticipated albums both for myself and for a large majority of what I feel is the fan base for this channel. Now, most of these are confirmed with an exact release date, some of them are confirmed with no actual day, and some of them, like something in the top 5, is just, it's a rumor, but we're gonna let it happen. So, without any further ado, let's get right into number 10. Bad Wolves Disobey. Now when I say Bad Wolves, you probably think of the cover they did that was very good of Zombies, or Zombie by the Cranberries, excuse me, which I think the cover was very good. It was one of those rare covers that's on the level of The Sound of Silence covered by Disturbed, or Can't Help Falling in Love with You, I don't know the song title, by Elvis Presley covered by 21 Pilots. It was a very good cover song, but usually when a band comes out of nowhere with a really good cover, that means that their core music is kinda iffy. But with Bad Wolves, listening to a few of the songs they put out in promotion for this new album, they actually seem to have something very interesting going forward. Usually heavy metal bands these days are sort of a knockoff of 3 Days Grace or Breaking Benjamin, or, God forbid, you even try to knock off this band, Bullet for My Valentine, but they seem to have a very original, not really original sound, because having an original sound nowadays is very hard to do, especially in the metal scene, but it feels like the more low-key parts of thrash metal, and I know that's going to stretch, stay with me here, the low-key parts of thrash metal sort of melding with modern just bass metal, and I think they're going to put out something really interesting. I'll definitely be taking a look at it when it comes out. Number 9, The Front Bottoms with An EP. The Front Bottoms for me are a band that, when I was introduced to them, I just kind of thought, what's so special about them? There's nothing of substance. You gotta have something that hooks me in. Not really, I wasn't that cynical, but I just didn't really have anything that connected me to the Front Bottoms and made me think, wow, that's a band I'm gonna remember. But as time went on, my interest sort of bounced in between. When they dropped Noodle Monster, I was confused, to say the least. When they dropped Tie-Dye Dragon pretty recently, I was a little impressed. So I'm going to be going into this EP with sort of fresh ears. There are very select songs from the Front Bottoms' Zazzle, their discography that I actually enjoy, like The Planned Fuck Jobs, I think is what it's called, is a really solid song, but it's also a really scattered thing to sort of pick out. Like, I'm very exact about their songs, but they have a very definite aesthetic to where it feels sort of hipster meets pop punk. There's no clear way to describe them, but they have a very definite aura and flavor that's attracting all these fans into their sound. And I'm hoping with this EP we get a little taste of what's really there. I'll admit I haven't really listened to a full length from them, but maybe this album will be the one that sort of draws me in and makes me listen twice. Who knows? Number 8, Mike Shinoda with Post Traumatic. In the wake of Chester Bennington's very unfortunate suicide that is very soon reaching a year since it happened, Linkin Park has changed for sure, not just overall with the missing link in the lead singer and treasured friend Chester, of course, but the band members all took it their own way. I feel like everybody was obviously deeply saddened by it, but sometimes you can turn sadness into art, as tragic as that sounds. That seems to be what Mike Shinoda is doing with the Post-Traumatic EP, taking influences both from, well, personal trauma, of course, and of course the aftermath of what happened with Chester. And while I don't think it's going to be groundbreaking at all, it's going to be very interesting to see what Mike Shinoda can do. He's had a few successful hit songs here and there. Remember the Name featuring Fort Minor being a very great one, in my opinion, that to this day, I have the percentages stuck in my head. You know what I mean when I say the percentages. But Mike Shinoda has a very special quality to where usually when you have a band with two singers, whether it's a clean singer and a rough singer, or a singer and then a rapper, like in Linkin Park, there's a very definite divide, but these two always seemed right on par with each other, matching constantly. So to see a full feature-length album from Mike Shinoda, capping off the Post-Traumatic EP, which had like 3 or so songs released off of it, I'm very excited to see what he can pull off. He's one of the very few artists who can prosper both in a band and on their own specifically, so it's going to be a great release, and I can't wait to take a look at it. Number 7, Attila, Retribution? Question mark? We don't know what the album's called, but all the signs are pointing towards us getting an album this year. We had a song released way back on Halloween called 3-6, which is an absolute banger. Go check it out, I promise, it's great. Then we had the recently released Blackout with a full music video and everything. There was a lot of merch released for it, and I haven't really been keeping up on Attila as much as I did when they were dropping Chaos, but all the signs are pointing towards us getting a full album, and I think it's going to be really telling for the future of the band. They've always had this stigma, both from fans and critics alike, that they're just a party band, they're just doing it for fun. And yeah, they're doing it for fun. I mean, even recently they dropped off of Sharp Tone Records, a label that has bands like World War Me and We Came as Romans, and they sort of became a band on their own, which Chris Franzak, I should say, the lead singer, has the ability to do. It's going to be really interesting seeing what they do with this album. As I said, this is the one that's not really confirmed, but again, we have all the signs pointing towards it, with 2 songs released, and a leak that happened on Kingdom Leaks featuring the title Retribution with a few songs. Blackout, I don't believe, was originally listed on it, but there was a feature from Deuce, who dropped the album Invincible pretty recently, so for one, I really want to see a new Attila album, because they, like I said, they have the stigma of just being a party band there for the hell of it, and I feel like they could really break out with this. Only time will tell, though. Number 6, Capture Lost Control, formerly known as Capture the Crown, and the process was really weird when it happened. I don't know if I was the only one being confused or what, but Capture the Crown was like, hey, we're retiring, see ya. And then they came out of nowhere, hey, Capture's the thing, here's a song, Lost Control. And there was so much happening at once, it felt like a hurricane, and I'm getting a migraine just thinking about it, to be completely honest. But there is a really interesting story being told here. They got Manny, the former drummer from Ghost Town, on board now, and I feel like this is the real dark horse in this top 10 list here, where I feel this could go either really well or really badly, sort of like the recent Under Oath album, which is something I hope to get into further, perhaps in a new video. Who knows, maybe a full review. Time will tell, we'll see what happens. But with Capture, it's very much up in the air, even more up in the air than Attila's Retribution album, so like I said, time will tell and we'll see what happens. I just hope it's something good. Number 5, Kanye West, TurboGrafx 16. This album, I'm so confused, because at first when I wrote the script for this, there was no real news pointing towards a new album, but then recently he posted some stuff on Twitter alluding to 2 new albums, one with Kid Cudi. The homie, though, that's Kid Cudi, though. I don't know what that's from. I think it's from, like, a Logic song or Chris Webby. My friend says it all the time. So there's apparently an album being dropped on the 8th of either May or June, I forget. So maybe that's TurboGrafx, maybe that's a completely other thing, who knows. But TurboGrafx has been in talks for a while. I don't know to what extent, because I'm not really a Kanye fan. He is one of the musical artists who I don't really get. I don't see the hype behind him. I was sort of the same way with A Perfect Circle and Tool, and even Taylor Swift to a point when it came to her new album, but I sort of kind of let myself slowly fall into that. Even in the rap spectrum, I kind of finally listened to Drake and saw if he was worth it, and he was okay. It was something. It didn't really take me by surprise, it didn't really wow me, but Kanye West has really yet to drop anything that ropes me in. Runaway off of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, I mean, how can you not love that song? That was a very desolate, scattered hit. But I don't know, hopefully TurboGrafx is the thing that sort of takes me in and makes me think, wow, I like it. Oh, Panic at the Disco, what are you doing? Should I say Brendan? Brendan, what are you doing? They've gone from pop punk to Baroque pop to a Beatles ripoff? Question mark? to Baroque pop again to, I don't even know what's going on anymore. Let's just call it alternative pop rock and leave it at that. Pray for the Wicked is an album that, as soon as it was announced, I was thinking, yep, this is where Brendan goes from just under the border of being great to full-on mainstream. Holy shit, give this man arena tours. Well, he's already getting arena tours. Let's just look at his Bachelor Live album, but Brendan's been really straddling this line of being, I don't know how to say it, it's homegrown, I guess, on the Fueled by Ramen label. And realistically speaking, I feel like Brendan Urie could go to Atlantic Records or Warner Brothers Records and just propel himself forward, but I feel like he's very comfortable in the position he has. But Pray for the Wicked, the two singles that were released, Say Amen and Fuck a Silver Lining, they were very gapped in quality. I hate saying this usually when a single comes out from Panic, but Fuck a Silver Lining was very underwhelming. But Say Amen Saturday Night, my God, that is not only going to be the lead single, that's going to be the song that sticks in fucking playlists from here on out. Mark and cross my words and fingers. But when it comes to Panic at the Disco being number 4 on this list here, there's no stopping Brendan Urie. Even if it's just him and the band, there's no stopping him. Can't stop, won't stop. Brendan, make the panties drop. Three, Arctic Monkeys. I gotta double check this name here. Tranquility Base Hotel and Casino. Usually when you describe a fan base as ravenous, it's just a term that you use, but when it comes to British bands, groups, or artists such as Gorillaz or the 1975, it's very literal. The fan base for the Arctic Monkeys is insane. I'm not really a part of it so much as I am an observer of it. Like, I enjoy Arctic Monkeys. Arabella and obviously Do I Want to Know are very good songs, but I haven't dove into them quite yet. But this is more on a base of, what's this video about? Anticipated albums for just in general, because I feel like Arctic Monkeys, they aren't going to be an album of the year candidate by any means, but it's going to be very much like their AM album. It's going to be a record that withstands the test of time. Maybe not several decades from now, but 10 years from now, we're going to be thinking, oh yeah, remember Tranquility Base? That's how it's going to be. The 1975 Music for Cars. Whoo! The 1975, I don't even know what I just did. The 1975, again, you could kind of count this album in the same category as Attila and Kanye West, with not being completely confirmed, but we've literally had Jamie Osborne and the band members sort of allude to not only a single album in Music for Cars, but an EP called What a Shame apparently being released this year. This year is going to be the year for the 1975. I won't be surprised if they whip out a Grammy win out of nowhere. It's going to be very interesting. I just poked myself in the foot with a tack. Good lord. It's going to be very interesting to see what they do with this album. I Like It When You Sleep, because you are so beautiful yet so unaware of it, was a great album. I mean, I have it right here on CD. It's beautiful. Product placement. Please sponsor me. I need money. But it was a very good album, but I felt like there was more to that story that could be told. And I feel like Music for Cars is not only going to capitalize off the popularity of that last album, but take it so much further and be so much better. It's going to be an album that is going to be all over Tumblr, all over Twitter, all over Facebook. It's going to be all over the place, unavoidable, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Number 1, Dance Gavin Dance, Artificial Selection. If you know me at all, you knew that this was going to be number 1 right off the bat as soon as you saw this was going to be a video. I love Dance Gavin Dance without a fraction of a doubt. They're my favorite band. Well, besides My Chemical Romance, but My Chemical Romance is kinda dead. But the band is something very special. They mix post-hardcore with, at times, pop-punk stylings. A little bit of funk in songs like Young Robot. Young Robot starts off with a flute solo, for God's sake. Seriously, I'm telling you, if you haven't listened to Dance Gavin Dance before, do it, especially this little album called Mothership. Product Placement Part 2. Hello. But it's very interesting to see how they're progressing in the music scene recently. What happened to my camera? It, like, got all off balance. I might have to fix that later. But because you have the 3 very definite eras, Kurt Travis, Johnny Craig, and of course the current lead singer, Tillian Pearson. And I feel like Tillian's really taking off. Acceptance Speech was a great debut album for him. Instant Gratification sort of, it really broke the mainstream bubble, well, at least within this alternative press slash rock sound and Warped Tour scene. And Mothership took off flying. Artificial Selection, it's going to not only stand out within the scene that they lie in, but I feel like it's going to break so many more barriers. Artificial Selection, personal album of the year candidate. I'm saying it now. And that was my video. What do you guys think? Do you guys agree with what I said? Do you disagree with what I said? Are you going to stab me in the throat for having different opinions? Let me know down in the comments section. Like, dislike, subscribe, unsubscribe. Get a pitchfork rally and ban my channel. Do something. And I will see you guys in the next video. Stay safe and be sure to check out the recommended bar. I always get mixed up because my camera's left is right and right is left. I don't even know where this is going. Look in the recommended section, look in the description, find stuff to go check out more stuff on my channel. I'll highly appreciate it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Stay safe.